There's a phase in indie game development that almost no one talks about. However, is where most games end up disappearing. It's not the start, it's not the prototyping phase, it's not even the technical challenges. It's when the game is almost done. The core loop works, the game is playable, and most of the problems are already solved. And that's exactly when things get very dangerous. Because when a game is almost done, there's no pressure anymore. There's no urgency. And suddenly, every new add-on to the game is justified. One more feature, one more polish, one more idea that would make it shine. Nothing feels wrong. But the game doesn't go forward either. I've seen games stay in this phase for years. I haven't even, unfortunately, experienced that myself. Some of them don't even make it out. So, almost done is danger. This is because almost done gives you an illusion. You feel productive. The game feels like it's going forward every day, and it's starting to look better every week. But there's no finish line. Feature creep doesn't even look like chaos in this phase. It feels like care, passion. It looks like you're actually wanting to do the game some justice. And that's why it's so dangerous. The problem is not creativity. It's not protecting that specific moment when the game is finally good enough to exist. Without that protection, perfection slowly takes control. And perfection can be very patient. It doesn't care if you stay there forever. So, why is it so dangerous? Because of perfection. So what can actually change things? I learned this the hard way while working on Dog Paradox. When I joined the team, the game was actually looking pretty good. The core loop worked, there were features every week. It felt like the game was turning into something real. Yet, no one had the same definition of done. The scope kept drifting, decisions kept coming back. Progress felt real, but the release date kept slipping. The real change didn't come from working harder or polishing more. It came from asking a different question. Instead of thinking, how can we improve this? We changed the question to, is this required for the game to exist? That question forced real decisions. Features were cut out, ideas were postponed, and some of them that were very good but could not make it to the game were just kept for next iterations or for a next game. And yes, it wasn't fun, but that gave the project direction. Thanks to that, we finally managed to publish the game, and later we even got nominated twice at Gamescom Latin America. That's where people rarely connect to this, but that's what makes the difference between indie developers that take 5 to 10 years in finishing one game and the ones that actually make many in a couple of years, every time making them better. So, what will be the fix? Commit. To a scope and a deadline. So if you're watching this and your game is almost done, here's what you have to do. Not tomorrow, not later, but now. You're going to list all the features of the game. Each one of them, think about every single thing that you still have to do to actually finish it. Then you're going to estimate the time and effort. Why the effort? Because sometimes there might be a task that you can do very quickly, but the amount of cognitive power that you need to use to actually finish it, it's going to make you stop working in the next hours or days because of how much it is. So you need to make a combination in your estimation of time and effort, so you can really have a more accurate understanding of how much is really left to finish the game. After that, when you have your list, you're going to ask yourself a serious question. What from all of these features really needs to be in the game? And once you know exactly, you have to cut what is not needed. I know this is very painful, but trust me, if you don't follow through this, you'll have the risk of your game never actually coming out. So once you took that very difficult decision, this is the last step. You're going to set a release date. Take into consideration everything, not just the features, the time you need to actually boot up the Steam page, do some marketing, everything you can, so the release date is as reliable and true as possible. And even take a little buffer just in case some things change. This is the whole process, but there's one more thing I would like you to do regarding this, and that will be repeat weekly. Because trust me, this is gonna change every week, and you're gonna have to be updating it so you keep yourself on track and you actually make it to the release date. So you will have to cut it again. Don't negotiate with it. Don't justify it. That is what it takes to get your game published, finished. Finishing your game is not the opposite of quality. It's what actually gives quality a meaning. A finished game can always be improved. An unfinished one cannot even be judged. Perfection feels safe, but finishing the game is what actually gives you a future as a creator. If your game is almost done, it is not protected. It is at risk. So ship your game and make the next one better.